You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
A big weekend for our basketball teams. Looking forward to sharing all that great, exciting news with you. Hope you had a nice weekend. 6 a.m. now on your Monday. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Netta Irampur. It was gorgeous with the sun out. Let's check in with Evan to see if we're going to get more of that.
We do have a lot more in the week forecast. I'd say today is kind of the only day where there's a big question mark over it as far as whether or not we could see some afternoon and evening showers. Whatever we end up seeing will be rather light. That's the plus side, that we don't really have much in the forecast. And in fact, it's much more likely that we'll have the wind picking up and those clouds breaking apart at times, getting a little bit of the sun peeking through for the afternoon stretch. Then by about 6 p.m., we'll probably see about 1/10 of an inch or less before things lessen in intensity throughout the rest of the week. And coming up, we'll talk more about the warmer temperatures that we'll have on hand by Wednesday and beyond. So we're actually looking quite comfortable as we head through the rest of the week. Back to you.
Evan, thank you very much. And now this morning, President Donald Trump is reacting after a federal judge blocked his use of a centuries-old wartime law to deport accused migrant gang members.
The accused gang members arrived in El Salvador over the weekend despite the court order. CBS 8's Regina Yarita live near the border with how the president is responding to all of this. Regina?
Yeah, good morning, guys. That's correct. A U.S. District James Boasberg ordered over the weekend that the Trump administration stop deporting people without hearings under the Alien Enemies Act. Now, the judge implemented a temporary restraining order preventing these deportations under this law for the next 14 days. But despite this ruling, 261 people were deported to El Salvador on Saturday. 137 of those removed under the Aliens Enemies Act had alleged gang ties, possibly from the Venezuelan gang called Tren de Aragua. The ruling comes just as a federal lawsuit was filed that same day by a group of 5 Venezuelans in Texas and New York local jails against President Trump. They also accused the Trump administration of violating the judge's order, alleging that the court had made it clear any planes in the air at the time the order was issued should return to the U.S. Now, in a statement, the press secretary says the administration did not defy the court order, adding that the immigrant flights were outside of U.S. territory by the time of the written order. But this is all in response to President Trump invoking the Aliens Enemies Act. Take a listen to what the president had to say in response to this.
In many respects, it's more dangerous than war because, you know, in war they have uniforms. You know who you're shooting at. You know who you're going after. These are people that came out. They're walking our streets.
And we do know that the next hearing for this case is scheduled this Friday, March 22nd. We'll have more information on that, of what comes for this federal lawsuit being filed just on Saturday. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
They will face in Denver, UC San Diego, the Tritons.
How about that? For the first time ever, the UC San Diego Tritons are headed to the big dance, both the men's and women's teams. And they've got company from our county.
Yeah, a lot of San Diego representing. San Diego State is also in this year's NCAA tournament. CBS 8's Chris Grow live at Viejas Arena to explain the new bracket now. To see the Tritons make it, that's incredible, Chris.
Yeah, we're going to have to hire a cartographer to kind of map out where each team will go and how it is that they potentially could advance to the Sweet 16, maybe even the Elite 8, and hopefully the Final Four and beyond. But we have 4 opportunities here, men's and women's team for both San Diego State. But let's talk about UCSD, who for in the first time in program history, eligible for the Division I National Championship for the big tournament, and both the men's and women's team solidified their chances. Here's more from the men's team on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, it was a dream. You know, I've been dreaming for this for 24 years. You know, that was pretty cool. It's a great moment. I'm going to cherish it, and then we're going to get to work.
It's an amazing feeling, man. Something I've dreamed about all my life. So now that we get to go dancing, we're all excited.
Really just excited for our guys and our team to get to keep playing. And they've had such a great year and played so well all season. It's really cool to see them rewarded with an opportunity to compete in the NCAA tournament.
And such a cool opportunity here for the Tritons, both the men and the women. Now, here's the thing. Their reward for going ahead and making the NCAA tournament in their first year of eligibility, no big deal. You get slotted in as the 12th seed in the South region, meaning you're going to have to take on the 5th seeded Michigan Wolverines. Yes, the Michigan Wolverines, who were the Big Ten champions. They went ahead and won that tournament, defeating Wisconsin on Sunday. But UCSD, no slouch, winning 15 games in a row, going and finishing 30-4 on the season before, of course, making the NCAA tournament for their first year in the Big West and having that first opportunity here in Division I. Now, as for the women's side, we know that, of course, they went ahead and are going to be going to the Big Dance as well. They're going to be playing one of those first 4 games, if you will, one of those play-in games. Here's what we heard from them on Selection Sunday.
I think, we're playing some of our best basketball at this point, and, it's the right time. We played a hell of a tournament out there, and it's just been a lot of fun. Seeing our name go up there on the screen was just unreal.
And I feel like we've really, through the Division II era, have established ourselves as a premier program in the country, and I think that's our goal, is to be competitive, compete for Big West championships every year, and burst in the NCAA tournament.
And here's the thing about UCSD women's team. Of course, as we know, a dominant Division II team. And then, of course, now with their first year as eligibility, same scenario as the men's. They go ahead and wrap up their ticket to the Big Dance by going ahead and capturing the Big West Championship, defeating UC Davis 75-66. They went into that Big West Championship tournament as the 4 seed, but were able to take that top spot. Their reward for all of this, again, seemingly a bit of that double-edged sword, if you will. They have to take on the number 1 seed, UCLA, if they are able to win that first 4 games. So if they win that first 4 game, where they will be going up against Southern University, they will then be rewarded with the number 1 seed, UCLA. So it's great to see all 4 teams, men's and women's, from both SDSU and UCSD in the Big Dance. We'll be talking a little bit more about the Aztecs hereafter. Into 6:30.
Yeah, and both their men's and women's. I mean,
right.
This is history
This
right
is
here. Pretty cool.
We always talk about the Aztecs, right, for basketball.
Right.
But to hear Tritons, and the first time ever, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan, UCLA, these are some storied names, but that's why they call it madness.
Hey.
Right, Chris? You just never know. That's why you show up, play the game.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Got a chance.
Okay, we'll check back with you again, Chris.
Appreciate it, Chris. Hey, turning to other local headlines here on this Monday. Today, the adoptive mother and grandparents of an 11-year-old girl who died in Spring Valley from neglect will be back in court. A grand jury indictment accuses Letitia McCormick and her parents, Stanley and Adela Tom, with more than 600 counts of abuse in a conspiracy to torture, starve, and murder 11-year-old Arabella McCormick. Arabella died in August of 2022 and weighed just 48 pounds. Letitia's husband, Brian, a Border Patrol agent, would have also been charged, but he died by suicide the day Arabella passed away. The accused will be back in court this morning for a status conference. This morning, crews are trying to figure out what started a boat on fire. Look at all the flames here. Giant flames. Happened around noon yesterday on North Harbor Drive near the intersection of Regatta Walk. Dozens of firefighters responded and worked to extinguish the flames before they spread to neighboring boats. There were no reports of any injuries.
And now today is St. Patrick's Day. A number of law enforcement agencies stepping up sobriety patrols and checkpoints. So in addition to checkpoints around the county, sheriff's deputies will be adding extra patrols for a 12-hour period starting at 6 p.m. today. The sheriff's office reports they've made more than 1,300 DUI arrests in the county so far this year. There's no excuse.
Yeah, nearly forgot it was St. Patrick's Day, but I saw on one of those signs on the way in that said, "Don't push your luck.
No,
drive
don't do that.
sober."
Also, you got your green tie on.
Monday, relax. What are you doing?
Right, you had all Friday and
Call
Saturday.
the Uber, it'll be cheap. No one needs one on a Monday. Here to blast
you don't need a pot of gold to afford an Uber.
Exactly, right? They're usually pretty affordable, and much more affordable than what a DUI costs. So I'd say opt for the Uber instead. Hey, hope you had a good weekend out there. It was a beautiful one, sunshine, warmth, and now we are shifting things a bit to start off Monday, in that we have a dense amount of clouds overhead. We also have some showers moving in our direction that'll likely make their way to San Diego by the time we get into about 7 p.m. tonight. So the expectation is that all of this will be breaking apart steadily throughout the morning and midday. By the time it reaches us in San Diego, we're anticipating under 1/10 of an inch in total from the coast to your mountains. Still, nonetheless, gives us about a 50% chance for rain in the forecast. That's today. By the time we get to tomorrow, that chance is starting to drop off a bit. And then from Wednesday, with a ridge of high pressure building all the way through the upcoming weekend, we've got much drier conditions in store, under 10% of a chance of rain in the forecast. We're also going to see that coincide with the start of the spring season. Official start is on Thursday. And I know a lot of people are excited for that start of the spring season, but what we have to also keep in mind is despite the last couple weeks that we saw of rain, our water year is not nearly where we'd like it to be. So we could use more rain in the forecast. We will absolutely take this 1/10 of an inch to add on to our water year so far, but we would need some more widespread storms to really pick up those numbers. Rainfall estimates take us to about a 1/10 of an inch in total. There are several spots that will be under that 1/10 of an inch, but spots that are expected to at least register 1/100th of an inch are from the coast to our mountains. All that green on the screen. Deserts are going to be left out of any of this wet weather by the afternoon and evening. Let's check in on traffic. We have one spot to take you to. It's the same spot that we checked in about a half hour ago, basically where the 805 northbound meets the 54. So when we zoom in there, you can see how traffic is starting to lessen in intensity. Seems like they may have been able to clear that #1 lane and push this crash right over to the shoulder. And beyond that, you can see how on the northbound 5, left-hand side of your screen there also is a bit of stop-and-go traffic. Could also be people rerouting onto the westbound 54, trying to skip over this crash. So expect volume to already be picking up as we kick off your Monday morning here. Let's take a look at your border wait times. 75-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. It should take longer to get across the Otay Mesa Port of Entry. There it's going to be about a 100-minute wait, so expect about an hour 40 possible across the Otay Mesa Port versus an hour 15 at San Ysidro.